Now welcome to another edition of News from Naboo with the Horse Lightning Takes, and let's get right to the news.
Okay, to start out, we have some information about the Tales of the Empire, Tales of the Jedi?
Tales of the Jedi.
Ahsoka arc. We knew that there was an Inquisitor in there, and the Inquisitor from the book was sixth brother.
Yeah, though in your defense, the Inquisitor from the Ahsoka series was in Tales of the Empire too.
Yes, he was. But now we know he is actually first brother.
I was wondering if there was a first, or if the Grand Inquisitor counted as first.
I always thought he was
kind of like
number
first
one.
And then you would go to two, but apparently not.
Well, the new source material says first brother, affiliation Inquisitorius. One of Darth Vader's Force-attuned Jedi hunters, this Inquisitor is dispatched to follow a tip that a Jedi has appeared in a remote village. He kills almost everyone there and is even ready to attack the Imperial informant, but Ahsoka Tano confronts and defeats him.
So my question is, now that the Ahsoka novel is like completely obliterated,
yes, they've now got rid of everything.
Why didn't they just keep it sixth brother?
They could have at least kept that
way
much.
You're kind of like, the details are a little fuzzy in the book compared to the show.
There's literally no way to meld these things together.
No, now they really have. I mean, there was a little sketchy already. I mean, all the interludes with the Siege of Mandalore stuff from the book had been destroyed by the Clone Wars arc, and now it seems the rest of it is destroyed.
It's sad because I thought it was a pretty decent book, and now it's
book.
like I look at it in the bookshelf over there and I go, "You're garbage. You mean nothing anymore." It doesn't. It means nothing now.
Well, it can still be a good story in and of itself.
They still call it a canon story, but it's not canon at all.
No, it doesn't fit.
They've
just doesn't.
Chopped so many pieces
sense.
of it out that it just doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
and it's a shame.
It's annoying.
Yes, it's very, very annoying.
Especially when it's something you enjoyed too. Like, that was a pretty solid book. I thought it was a good explanation for what Ahsoka is up to right after Order 66 and in that time period.
Exactly.
And how she gets involved with Bail Organa and becomes Fulcrum. It's it's fine. And then it's like, nah, we got a better idea.
Well, Disney likes to do that. They are like, here's a story. It's canon. And then they came around and they're like, but we want to make it a thing that's visual now, and Dave says he wants to do this instead, so this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah,
they did the same thing to the young Kanan in the comics. They kind of changed him up.
Changed in Bad Batch season 1, first episode. Yep.
But then there's other things that they've changed. Like they had to come out with the Kenobi show. There was a perfectly good book for Kenobi.
But that's Legends. That all
I
got wiped
know
away.
that's Legends, but there was no reason why they couldn't have used a lot of that, or at least the concepts that were. It was.
No, I agree. There's a lot of things in Legends that they should have just kind of cut and pasted right back in.
Instead, they decided, you know what? Instead of going with this story about a man trying to go into hiding and all of the details that entails, all of the hunting for finding his master to train him in the Force again, finding himself, they're like, nah, let's do some flashy adventure with some fighting and
the rematch of the century. Yeah.
We didn't need the rematch of the century.
No, we really didn't. That's the problem. Like I said, there are great stories in Legends that would still fit in a way, and they don't. They just decide, we want to redo it and do it worse, usually.
Yeah. All right. So I don't know who is familiar with Ian McCraig. He is best known for designing a bunch of Star Wars characters. He was the character designer of Padme Amidala. He was the designer of Darth Maul. A lot of the concept art he came up with for Star Wars was used.
Yeah.
He was big in that, of course, the industry. He did a lot for episodes 1, 2, 3, and even episode 7.
Oh, nobody's perfect. I'm kidding. Actually, of all not to change the topic, but of all the sequel movies, I thought 7, visually, when it comes to set design and aliens, I thought it was the best.
He actually started doing some traveling, giving talks at Star Wars exhibits. And that's when he really said that he started to experience firsthand how much Star Wars touched audiences around the world. Like, he wasn't connecting with that.
Yeah.
He said, "I like to teach people to draw and tell stories, and many barriers disappeared because folks knew I worked on Star Wars." And while he respected Star Wars, and he continuously had more respect for it, doing these tours and seeing all these people and how it changed them, he didn't connect to it personally. He went on to say, "It was Andor that finally caught my heart and soul. Gone were the superheroes, and for the first time I felt how fragile and terrible it was to live in the time of the Empire, and how some people persevere despite everything, no matter the cost. That connected Star Wars to the real world for me, and I fell in love with it. Now I see endless, untouched possibilities for this saga and would love to be a part of creating them.
That's a very excellent way to put Andor.
It really is. I like that he's like, well, he's a concept designer, concept artist, but he didn't really connect to Star Wars. He saw them as superheroes.
Well, yeah, I mean, I hate using that terminology, but I can understand how someone would see it that way.
Yeah, he saw them as, flashy superheroes, and then he sees Andor, and just, it hits him. That is his connection to Star Wars. This oppressive empire, these everyday people,
that
and
is what is
how do they go
it.
through living in this?
Yeah,
it's amazing.
No, Andor is fantastic because it's the ground level view of the Empire. It's the common person in the galaxy, how they have to deal with the Empire, who's not necessarily a part of a rebellion or has the Force or a senator or whatever, but just trying to live their life. And there's the Empire.
Constantly there pushing them down when they're just trying to breathe the fresh air.
Exactly. It does so much for everything else Star Wars that has anything to do with the Empire, because you truly feel the oppression of the Empire. Whereas in the movies, like, you understand what they're going for, you understand the Empire is bad, but you don't feel it the same way.
No. I mean, it was crazy. Even seeing that brief scene where Cassian, under his false name, gets dragged off by the droids. He didn't do anything. He was a perfectly innocent. Well,
in
his
that scenario
cover,
or that situation,
he was innocent. He gets pulled in there, assigned to go to prison for no reason.
Yeah,
like his
jaywalking,
person.
kind of,
it was
or being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And then you go to the prison. The prison is rough. It's horrible. But you're holding on hope. You're going to leave someday, only to find out there is no leaving.
No.
You're here for life.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
No, there's no voice. They were the voiceless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But you know what I mean. For the average person who gets stuck in a prison like that, you're just there. There's no escape. There's no answer.
It's like they knew that he didn't have any connections and he'd have no family, no life outside of this.
Yeah.
So just to see how Star Wars maybe didn't always connect to everybody, but you find something like Andor or something, a specific part of it that just brings you in, and that is your Star Wars. You don't have to love every piece of Star Wars. No. If you were connected with the Acolyte and that's your Star Wars, you know what? Good for you. That's your Star Wars.
Yeah, I guess. I'm kidding.
I know you're kidding. Yeah. But it's just fascinating to see that Star Wars really can bring people together from all sorts of different life experiences.
It's funny, someone that worked on it.
It covers so much, Yeah,
somebody worked on it and then finally gets it. Which is kind of funny. You would think, well, you work on Star Wars. Certainly you get it and you like it.
Yeah, you must love Star Wars. You've worked on it. No, he just did it. It was a job. He did his job.
Yeah.
And then he connects with the people and he's like, yeah, these people love Star Wars. It's still not me. He sees Andor and goes, oh my God.
Yeah.
I get it. So I just thought that was a really interesting, kind of fun story to share.
Do we have any new this week in Star Wars?
Indeed we do. Star Wars: The Battle of Jakku Insurgency Rising #4 is coming out.
Yeah, I've read the first 3.
I've not.
Been telling you to. I know I've been harping it because I wouldn't mind doing a review and talking about it. Doing some.
Do we know how many issues it's going to be entirely?
12 issues. Yeah, it's it's coming out pretty much weekly though, so it's not like it's going to take the whole year or anything like that.
Plus Maybe we will. Maybe we will.
Plus, for those who play the Star Wars Unlimited TCG, the new set releases this Friday, though pre-releases were already pre-release events were already this past weekend.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
you got a little swag from one.
I did, yeah. I did get some swag, but nobody in this area plays, so
yeah. So Thor had to play by himself.
At least he didn't say it another way.
I thought about it.
You did. I could see it in your eye. You had this twinkle, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna. No, she didn't.
Well,
she spared me.
This week we also talked about the fact that this weekend is D23 Brazil, which could hold some really fun nuggets of Star Wars information as well as Marvel. Also, we have to look forward to. People have been asking in the comments. They've been enjoying our coverage of Penguin and wanting to see if we'd cover a few more shows. We are going to give Silo Season 2 a review and a test run to see. Yeah. Do you guys want us to cover?
Watch it?
Yeah. I mean, we enjoyed Season 1. It was phenomenal.
Excellent, yeah.
Yep. We know now Season 2 is coming, this week. Just like we also, if anyone is thinking about Apple TV to watch Silo or anything like it, give Severance a try. Season 2 is in January, and Severance is phenomenal.
Silo was excellent, but I think I liked Severance even more.
Oh, yeah.
Even though
because
Silo
Severance had some real-world Like things that
was-
made you think. Really
Yeah.
nuanced conversations that you would have with other people about, hey, if this was a real thing, would you do it?
It has those moral quandaries and dilemmas in there where you're like,
yeah, and-
yeah. But anyway, yeah, we'll try some different shows here and there. If people watch and like the reviews, we'll keep them going. Sometimes we might start something like nobody watches, so
So it's
we might
hard to
not.
keep going.
Yes. But anyway, for now, that's going to be all we got for you this time. It is your turn to take to the comments below. Tell us what you think of any and all of today's news, and let's talk some Star Wars. And so until next time, thanks for watching.